Good evening, everyone. This is Gil at Camp Patton Family Compound. With me tonight, we'll have Tammy from Rebel Canners and Mark from Chef Tech. And tonight is the Monday Night Fireside Chat, and tonight's topic, canning your favorite salsa. What needs to be canned and what can you get away with not canning?
You can can everything.
Yeah, Tammy's running late. She's coming back from town. Her daughter-in-law. Hang on a second here. Let me go back in and look at it. Daughter had to go to the ER.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, but while we're waiting for Tammy to get in here and we can start talking, let me first go up there and say hi to everybody. All right, so Walt was the first one in, and that was an hour and a half ago. Troop 1351, Slurking, Phelan Clan Wolf is listening on a double shift. Ooh, which means he's sitting there in the dark room at the security controls, watching the cameras, going, "Stay awake, stay awake, stay awake." Ooh, I can watch this. Okay, everything's up good up there. I'm watching this. Yeah, I've gotten him to confess to me. All right. Let's see. And, of course, Mark's watching on Mad Chick here. Geeky Gardens is in the house, and everybody's posting what ads they did or did not get.
Tammy's channel is streaming it, but she's not there, so that's just mean.
No, it means the people on that site will be extra supportive when she actually shows up, and they're being supportive now. So, I had an Uber Eats, which I've had that before, and some funky biospray stuff in the show, spraying, disinfecting hospital beds, hotel room beds, dog area. It was weird. Tammy Harder's here. Aiden Near's in the house. Oh yeah, I forgot. Geeky Garden said, "Don't forget your one-a-day vitamins." It's probably the ad he saw. Uh-oh.
This time change about killed me.
Yeah, looks like I'll be getting ads tonight. Horrible freight this time. About 6 hours ago, I went in and double checked, and it had ads every 6 minutes. And I went and I changed it to no, I will put them in later. It looks like they really were listening to me. I bet they changed it back or something.
What, so people are going to get ads right in the middle of the live stream every time?
Yeah. So you can go in there and you can set up on your live stream. You want ads at 6, 12, 18, 24, or every 30 minutes. Or you set it for, no, I'm going to set it manually afterwards. You can do pre-roll and in-roll ads, but I'm going to do it set them at afterwards for those that come in later on. But Diana 2 is here on Tammy's side, and King Poopah, Dustin is here. So Dustin loves his peppers. Dustin, have you canned any salsa there? Have you and Courtney canned any salsa?
Oh, that's Courtney's husband? I didn't know that.
King Poopah is Courtney's husband. And he changed his name, how many years ago? It used to be, was it Corky's hubby or something like that? And Diana 2's in on my side, too. Shady Hill Homestead is in on Tammy's side.
Everybody wants a salsa recipe.
Yeah. So those are wondering why Tammy's not here. She's on her way back from town. Her daughter had to go to the ER, so she's on her way back and coming in. Nope. Just pickled peppers.
Yeah, pickled jalapenos. Yeah, bread and butter jalapenos. Oh, cowboy candy. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what's going on. Why Tammy's not up here yet. She's texted me. She's on her way. Did she say how many minutes late? Did she give me an estimate? Just a few minutes late. So
yeah, she'll be here.
Yeah. So Mark, you can answer this.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you saw the video I did on Gray Man prepping my October haul video today?
I did not. I kind of worked during the day, so you know.
Yeah. Anyways, the local grocery store up here, Brolam's, which is throughout Idaho here, does a special case lot sale every spring and fall, and we're in the middle of it right now for the spring. And the staff sergeant told me to go over and get some diced tomatoes. And I looked at my cupboard and I got one 12-pack from Sam's Club, and I got 3 other ones. I can't remember what they were right now off the top of my head. Yeah, okay. I mean, it means she's probably going to want me to, or her, whoever makes the first trip the opposite way, you know, is going to pick up a case and run it back to the other area. Rudy Fern with autism. Hey, welcome. He's in on Tammy's side. Tammy will be here shortly, folks. So anyway, I was wondering, since I got all these cans of diced tomatoes, I can just go ahead and water bath those, right?
Yeah. If you're buying, what are you buying? Number 10 cans?
No, these are the short ones. Pop tops. Pop tops don't last long.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can jar it back up and water bath it. If it's just tomatoes, make sure there's nothing else in there. I know you do that. We all read the label ingredients now. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Angel's Homestead made it. So yeah. So all right. So that's probably I made Wednesday do that. You know, if I got to go into the garage across the street where I still got a bunch of stuff stored and pull out my big, it's about that big around water bath canner, the big one, and I'll just put a whole bunch of pint jars in there and do 24 of them up for me. Yeah.
So anyways, salsa verde. I'm kind of looking at my recipe right now, going, it's so simple, it's sad.
Yeah. So I'll do up 24 jars to keep here for me, and the other case can go back to my wife. Unless things change, she just moves everything up here.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be great. And then she saw the video today, and she put on there. Now go back and get. Oh crud! What did she say on it? Ah, shoot. Well, let me see here. Let me check something here first. Okay, I don't have any more slides to put up on here, so I'm going to go ahead and take that down. Yeah, so I got my marching orders here, and the marching orders are, here we go. Go in, look at it, and scroll down. Come on, scroll down. Now go back and get the diced tomatoes with green chilies. They're like Rotel, got some zing.
That works.
Yep. So yeah.
All right, Tammy, you're gonna have to listen to this video later again anyway to write it all. Unless you got a pen, I'll give you 30 seconds. Go get a pen and paper. 29, 28. Anyway.
Well, while you're waiting for that, salsa, my favorite salsas, just to cut thing on it, used to be La Victoria Supreme one, the mild Supreme, and then we noticed some of the sweetener they were putting in it. Yeah, and but before we noticed that, I noticed it started getting chunkier and chunkier and chunkier. And it's like, this is not salsa. Salsa is sauce. Stew is chunky.
We're going to argue about this one. So good, fresh, homemade salsa is chunky. Not big chunks, but like 1/8 inch to 3/16 diced.
Okay, that's not chunky. That's still salsa. I'm talking stuff where you got 3/4 to 1 inch size pieces of tomato, big old pieces of bell pepper, or other peppers in there, onion, big stuff there. It's like a friggin' stew.
All right.
And you can't scoop and get a little bit of everything on your chip.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Hey, Diana, too. Yeah, my wife likes chunky better. That's why she loves me.
All right, she made it. Woohoo!
Hey. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
right.
yeah. So, all right, Tammy. So you know you have Rudy Fern with autism on yours. Shady Hill Homestead, Diana 2. Those are the ones that came in on your side.
Thank you.
In case I missed anybody else.
Oh.
But yeah, I was just complaining about the way the commercial salsas have gone from salsa to stews.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got a piece of tomato in there that big and a piece of bell pepper like that in there, and it's like I can't even dip in there to get the.
They're in a hurry to chop it up in a big machine, and they don't care.
And then the juice is like water.
Yeah, because you don't have the other stuff broken up
Right.
Yeah.
It's
so
bad.
Tammy Harder. Let me get back to Tammy Harder quick before we forget about her. So my green salsa or salsa verde, I use about 3 pounds of green tomatoes, nice and fresh. Take the cores out, all that stuff. Chop them up. My original recipe said a half of a yellow onion or a purple onion, meaning a red onion. So mine's mixed. I go by cups and weight, not by one onion. What's an onion? Is it the size of a softball or is it the size of a ping pong ball? Oh yeah. So I use a half a cup of white onion, like the real vicious white onion, and a half a cup of red onion. That's in mine. Diced up super fine, or you can just chop it up and throw it in the food processor, which is the easier way to do it.
And I use the sweet Vidalias.
Yeah, no, I like my salsa like painful.
I don't want that. I don't want a bite. I want a heat, but not a bite.
Well, I'm just giving her my recipe, but anyway. And I'll put in two. It says my recipe says 2 jalapenos, but I know that's about a quarter cup. I usually go up to about a half a cup. Maybe a little more, depends on what mood I'm in. Cilantro, chopped cilantro, measured out, semi-fluffy, about a quarter to a third of a cup, unless you really like cilantro. I'm not a cilantro fan. Tastes like stink bugs. Anyway, that's me. Yeah, whatever. And then salt to taste. I put in fine grind white pepper, so you don't really see it. You can put a little black pepper in there. And then lime juice when you're going to serve it. But I actually went, because it comes out depending on the green tomatoes in the food processor, and I don't chop it up until it's like puree. You can do that. But I run it until it's chunky. But if it's real wet, I'll throw in like a tablespoon or so of tomato paste. It gives it more of a brown color because you're mixing green and red. It kind of turns brown. And just to thicken it up a little bit. It's just right out of the can. Little tomato paste to thicken it up. And then, I eat it fresh like that. Or if you want to make a big batch, do that. And then just double, triple, quadruple, and then adjust as needed for your flavors. And then throw it in your jars. And I would, unless you eat a lot of salsa, I'd say half pint jars. And wide mouth pints. Gallon jars. Wide mouth pints. Sure, you can eat it right out of the jar with a chip, but you're probably not going to get those big triangle chips in there. You might get the little scoops. Scoops are cool.
You just break the triangles in half and use the fat end to scoop.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my recipe for my green tomato salsa, which I didn't really make into this past year because I still have like 30 pints of red salsa from last year that I got to eat up.
The wrong box. I feel a tickle coming on. Here we go. Cough drop. Don't need to be coughing in everybody's ear here. When like I was saying before, the La Victoria Supreme was our favorite until my wife spotted an ingredient in there we didn't want, sort of a sweetener. And so then she tried. I'm not going to slap it. I don't know. They may have gotten rid of it. I don't know. They may have increased it, but they were before that they were getting bigger and bigger and bigger chunks in there. That just wasn't getting that often. Then we picked up got the Newman's Own. I forget which one it is. One of the Newman's Own salsas, and it was like and Mark disagrees with me. Salsa is sauce, and chunky is stew.
Well, yeah. Okay. If you're going by half-inch chunks, sure, that's tomato stew, cold, non-processed vichyssoise. We'll go with that.
Oh no, you aren't wrong. Cold tomato soup, which is Mexican, is gazpacho.
Oh, gazpacho. Sorry, my bad. All right.
He doesn't speak Spanish. He speaks Italian.
Speaking Italian, hey,
and French. Yeah. They didn't teach the Espanol stuff in the culinary school.
No, we didn't have Spanish cooking class. No, we really didn't.
I'm just teasing because
I know you are.
Gazpacho is one of the things. There used to be a chain of restaurants, La Senorita, and I am very Scottish. Let me just preface this story by saying I am incredibly frugal, and I have been very rich and very poor in my life, and more of my life has been very poor. And when I was first married, I was very hot dog poor. Like, we would go for date night, we'd go to La Senorita, and we'd eat the soup and the salad, take our entrees home for another meal because they gave us movie tickets. We get the movie tickets and we get a coupon for our dessert, the fried ice cream. And then we'd come back another time for date night. We'd eat our ice cream and go to the movies.
Whatever it
takes. But their gazpacho was so good.
Yeah, because I'm saying vichyssoise is potato soup. But anyway, sorry. My bad.
That's all right. I just the only reason I know it is because I had to make it when they went out of business for myself.
I was never cold. If it's cold tomato soup, just give me some freaking Scoops chips so I can eat it that way. I'm not eating it with a spoon.
Gazpacho is spicy.
Now, so we started getting Newman's Own. It was all nice and really small, small stuff and everything, and the sauce and stuff. And then it started getting bigger. I have a question about this. It's okay to take the canned salsa, open about 7 or 8 jars of it, whatever, or even the paste is getting big. Froze. Even the big half-gallon things of paste have monster-sized chunks in it, and strain it. Take the chunks, run that through the food processor, make it small, then remix it up and can it myself. That's approved, right?
Yes, that is approved. You're talking to a woman who just bought 5 1-gallon things of ketchup that doesn't expire for another year because Sam's Club is clearancing out their Members Mark gallon jugs of ketchup for $2.81.
Oh wow!
What's the ingredient? Does that have high fructose in it or sugar?
At this price, I didn't care. I have a family reunion. I'm taking 1 gallon to a family reunion, and the other ones we don't eat a lot of ketchup, so this will probably last us a really long time. I have a recipe to make my own. I do want to make my own, but.
Yeah, because we've had to switch both over here and across the street totally to the Heinz or Hunt's, whichever one it is, Simply. High fructose corn syrup in it.
Yep.
Just a little sugar.
I just bought a little bottle of the Simply ketchup for me.
Yeah.
No, hang on.
See, all of my yes.
Okay.
There's a gene. You have the gene. You either have the gene or you don't have the gene.
No, here
it
is.
The gene. It tastes well. It tastes like soap. It tastes like stink bugs.
Here's the thing.
I know what a stink bug tastes like when it hits my mouth at 70 miles an hour.
Here's why. However many years back you want to go, ancient man did not like it. It's Modern Man that has the one gene number that's the one chromosome thing is one number off. So now those people like it, whereas the more pure man don't like it.
There you go. Yeah, I like that one. Thanks, Gil.
It's a genetic mutation I love about myself. Okay, I love.
All right.
Between
cilantro
and
there are some people that have a half mutation. They can tolerate it. It doesn't quite taste like soap, but it doesn't thrill them like it thrills the others. They're kind of stuck in the middle. They're half breeds.
I can tolerate it, but if I take a little cilantro leaf and squeeze it with my finger and smell it, oh no, I just want to puke.
Yeah.
But I'll chop a little bit up and throw it in my salsa. I know it belongs because everybody else likes it, so I'll do it that way. And I'll eat it, and I understand what it is.
All right. Shoot. Yeah, they're doing the ads again. Sorry about that, Jack. I tried fixing it early, this morning, but so for basic flat out, stuff, you can just about any salsa.
Yep.
Is there a particular salsa you shouldn't can and just have it whatever so much vinegar and stuff you just basically like pickle it? Yeah, I mean it's pickled.
No.
So everything should be canned. Salsa.
Water bath. Yep, you can water bath it.
Okay. Because I wanted to get that out of the way because that's the way what needs to be canned. So all of it needs to be canned unless you're eating it right away.
Yeah.
How long after you make it up fresh is it good for? Putting it in the refrigerator after each, dumping some out and eating it.
I'd say probably 5 to 7 days, maybe a little bit more if you keep it covered. Yeah, well, there's acid, so there is that.
It's vinegar. It's got vinegar in it. I would keep it up to 2 weeks in the refrigerator.
It depends on how fast you eat it and how big of a container you overbought.
If you're double dipping, it's going to go bad sooner. So make sure you don't double dip.
Keep the kids' fingers and their mouthy chips out of it.
I have not heard of pineapple salsa.
Yes, you can make fruit salsas. Mango salsa, pineapple salsa.
Yep.
My personal favorite is cranberry salsa.
Make watermelon salsa.
Like
I had
cranberries.
That once. I had watermelon salsa once. It was like regular salsa, but it had watermelon rind and some of the red. Not much, but a little bit in there. So it added this natural sweetness, but it was just a background sweetness. Yeah. But it was really, I was like, that's pretty good. And it was at a party, and the person that made it, I didn't get a chance to talk to, so I never got the recipe out of them. I'm sure I could figure it out.
We ate a gallon of cranberry salsa. I got the same thing. I got it at a party. I'm like, I need that recipe. I went home and made it, and then made 4 more batches before cranberry season ran out. My kids just loved it, and I haven't made it. I should make that again. I have a whole series of salsa recipes. I have a whole playlist of different salsas on my channel.
Now, if you're making salsas out of yellow tomatoes, orange tomatoes, which is fine, and maybe some green tomatoes mixed in, or not the red ones that are much lower acid, how much, I mean, short of buying a meter, I mean, how much acid, where do you think I stand there?
Because of the amount of vinegar that you have to add to it, you're generally very safe.
I don't have much vinegar in any of my salsas, but that's another story.
Oh, well, if you're adding the proper amount of vinegar to a salsa recipe, you should still be fine.
Now for the question on the vinegar. What type of vinegar is preferred over other types?
It has to be 5%. It can be any kind of vinegar as long as it's 5%. It doesn't matter what flavor, what style, what color, and if you make your own
cider, wine, white wine, regular distilled,
rice vinegar tends to be 4%, so not usually you can't usually find a rice vinegar that's 5%. You have to really look for it. But it just depends on your flavor palette. Some people like the white vinegar. I prefer white vinegar, but a lot of people use the apple cider.
Yeah, now I'm gonna spin Mark up. So using a little bit of that 45%.
I was just gonna say that. I got this.
don't
I
like
got
that
this
kind of
35%.
Just a
outside.
teaspoon.
A teaspoon for 5 gallons is probably enough to throw it over the top and put you in the hospital.
Yeah, I don't want that much. I don't need that much. I mean, if you wanted to be on the safe side, I'm sure you could find a recipe that adds a little citric acid, but I don't like the taste. It changes the flavor.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell Tammy, I do throw in about 4 or 5 cloves of finely minced garlic into mine.
Ooh, yes, yes.
I forgot the garlic, and that's not on my original recipe, but I'm like, and I know when I start making it, I'm like, oh yeah, I do this. Oh yeah, I do that. Oh, eventually, I think I have scratch notes on like different pads all over the house. And one of these days, I'll compile them together and be like, okay, here's my recipe.
See, that's why I do the cooking channel, and all my recipes are in one place, and people can go back and recreate them. And then I try to get my friends who have great recipes to also let me video them, so that all their recipes are in my same saved place.
All right, Tammy, I don't understand the wording on that. Can tomatoes for a recipe, not for salsa? If I make salsa, I use fresh tomatoes. My bad. What? I think there's a punctuation thing going on there.
All right, she's talking about canned tomatoes for a recipe, not salsa.
Oh, you don't have to put vinegar with tomatoes if you can't can them.
No, I
recipes.
recan sauce all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use fresh tomatoes, or you can use canned tomatoes to make salsa. Really, it's a flavor preference because of the texture preference.
Yeah, that's what it is. She's saying she tries to use fresh for her salsa, and but not using the canned one she has for it. But I don't know, some of the diced tomatoes and stuff that my wife and I have been getting, they're still nice and firm. They should work for salsa.
Yeah, well, they're firm, but they've already been canned, cooked, so to speak. So you can recan it again. Just don't chop them up too much, and you'll have your favorite saucy salsa.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan Q's asking you, do you have another channel besides
No,
Rebel
just
Canners?
Rebel Canners, and then the Facebook group, but just Rebel Canners.
So all your recipes are in a playlist.
Yes, all my recipes are in a playlist on the Rebel Canners video. All my video recipes are on Rebel Canners. I do have the Facebook group Rebel Canners, and then I have a Facebook group called Dinner Bells, and that one is just cooking and things like that. I have not really promoted that Facebook channel at all, but it's just very frugal, economic recipes for people who are suffering hard times.
Okay.
So if you have a garden and you're growing lots and lots of different vegetables and lots of tomatoes, you can literally throw any vegetable. You can throw green beans if you wanted to in a salsa. It's going to really change your flavor. But you can pretty much put whatever you want. I just wouldn't put lettuce and kale in there, although I'm sure some people will put kale in there like a smoothie. Ugh.
You can use zucchini too.
Yeah, zucchini. Any kind of squash. Well, I don't know about pumpkin, but yeah.
Yeah, I grate zucchini and throw it in sometimes for fresh.
Yeah.
Just to be a filler.
Yeah.
I don't can it though because of the acid. I don't can zucchini in my tomatoes.
Okay. Let's see. So I'm just running some thoughts here. So when Sam's Club or Costco or the Chef Store has the number 10 cans on sale of whatever type of salsa for restaurant stuff, and it's on sale, go ahead and if you can always doctor it up more, right? You can doctor it and then recan it into jars at home.
Yes, and with salsa, you really need to follow the formula. Okay, so you don't want to add too many low acid vegetables unless you're
increasing your
vinegar, your acid. So there is a formula to it. It is a science, right, Mark?
Yes.
And so you don't want to go hog wild on some of the onions or garlic.
No.
And
if you really want to
acid.
get technical about it, go get a pH meter. They're not
Yeah.
cheap. Don't buy a cheap $19.95 Amazon special pH meter and get a pH. I have one. I use it for swimming pools and stuff, and it's not cheap. And
I want to say thank you to Penny Ortiz. She bought me a coffee. Thank you so much. I did just see that. I haven't been on that website in a really, really, really long time. But thank you so much. I did get that, and I just wanted to thank you.
Now, I've seen some channels doing this. I've always wondered, instead of using a meter, they use the test strips for like you use for pool or for aquariums to make sure it's everything's proper.
You have to really read the directions on those.
Yeah.
Because those multi-water testing strips have like 18 different pads on there, and there's chemicals in there.
Yeah.
They're not meant for testing. If you're going to test your food, put it in a separate container and test it and then throw it out. You don't want to whatever. But they have pH and all the different alkaline and acid, all the different measurements you need for a pool. But if you just get a pH meter, and trying to match up a color on the side of a tube, independent of what light you got to use natural sunlight.
I couldn't do that for my friend's pool, let alone for food. And it wasn't important for the pool. It's kind of important for my food.
Yeah. Okay.
And there are acid charts out there. There's probably a couple I posted and you posted on your Facebook page of different vegetables, different acids. But these days, there's so many different hybrids of a tomato. Some are low acid, some are high acid, some are in the middle. I mean, they'll give you an average, but if you're using just orange tomatoes, they're a little lower on the acid count than a good Roma or something like that.
And you can add citric acid. So if you do the pH meter and it doesn't come out right, you can add a little citric acid powder. It's not going to give you the same flavor change as adding more vinegar would.
Look at all those colors.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. What was the alkaline acid? There was one I first saw here, and let me see if I bring it back. Well, bring it back to my view here. That one, I guess it was. Yeah, neutral. Yeah, so as you go across, this is a more cheater one. Just go across. Doesn't give you pH numbers like that one gives you pH numbers. So, but yeah, there's things out there. There's another one like that. Oh yeah. You can almost read that one. Hang on. I'm saving that one. Save images. No, I want to go here. I want to go to canning. Save that one there. Boom.
Yeah, but it's just giving you the general idea of tomato in general. It's not giving you the differences between the colored tomatoes and the red. There's three kinds. For the purposes of our discussion today, there's three types of tomatoes. There's the cherry tomatoes. They're not for canning. They're for eating. There's the slicing tomatoes. They're not for canning. They're for eating. And then there's the canner type tomatoes. You want to use the canner type tomatoes. The yellow ones and the other colors are not necessarily what you want to use for canning. Now, do I can green tomatoes? Yes, but I also adjust the acid because of it. So just to throw that out there so you really understand it.
Or just throw your yellow tomato sauce in the pressure canner for 30 minutes and you're good.
It doesn't have to be the time is not 30 minutes, but
I'm looking over at the number 3 over here. Black tea, soy sauce, hard liquors, canned foods, processed foods, microwave foods, pork. I mean, it's like,
wait, what?
That
makes no sense.
Yeah, that does not.
Yeah,
canned food, pH of 3. Really? That would rot the can out. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But it does say vinegar, and then it goes tobacco products, That's why chewing tobacco just eats out their gums
Eats
and
your
everything.
enamel on your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back here. Boom.
But yeah, and I do a hot sauce, and I do it with green tomatoes, and I do a hot sauce with red tomatoes. So they have different amount of heat because I add different peppers to them.
Yeah, mine has different amount of heat depending on how many jalapenos I have in the garden that I want to use up.
Yeah, my green sauce is jalapeno. My red sauce is habanero, serrano, maybe some other things that are even hotter, depending on what I find at the farmer's market. So my red sauce is really hot. My green sauce is mild. Hot sauce. And that's a very basic recipe. It really doesn't even have measurements exactly. It's more of a fermented recipe anyway than a canned recipe.
If my buddy Richard's watching right now, which he might be, I still haven't worked on his phone yet to give him the ability to hit the thumbs up and all that crap, but he watches. If he's watching, he's probably like, okay, Mark, we're growing tomatoes. I'm growing tomatoes this year. You're going to help me make different salsas and that because he loves salsa too.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else here. Okay. Hang on. Good. Yeah. All right. So, anybody in the chat, do you have a favorite recipe that you'd like to share? Take your time, type it in. If you get to the end where you got to do a second one, yeah, just go ahead and hit enter and just continue on.
Yeah, tomatillos. I've never made salsa out of tomatillos, Moon.
Oh, it's so good. And I
never grew them. My mom grew them once. I'm like, what are these goofy looking things with like these tents on them?
Cherry tomatoes with tents.
Yeah, no. I'm like, no, just give me a tomato. I've never dealt with them really.
They're good. They're good. I put them in if I get them, I put them in my hot sauce.
Cherry tomatoes.
Yeah.
More or less acid than like your beefsteaks or something?
They're less acid than your canners, than your Romas, your beefsteak.
Okay.
Beefsteak is actually a slicer, but I do can. They're ones I can.
When I made my sauce this year, it's every tomato that I had in the garden, except for the yellow pear tomatoes. My wife just eats those. Most of the cherries went to my wife or her friends at work. Some of them, I had so many Romas and Amish paste. I didn't care. I just washed them off and threw them in a bag and sealed them up and then just boiled them with everything else because I really was not worried about lowering my.
Yeah, I'm getting pissed about that, Diana, too.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Well, you're becoming a gardening channel, so they must think that they can advertise that.
You need to get rid of your weeds, the plants that are growing in the wrong place. Yeah, that.
You know what you do if you want to get rid of your weeds? Eat them. Most of them are highly nutritious.
Yeah, no kidding.
Forage them, eat them, make them into salad. Dry them, make them into green powder, and put them in your smoothies.
Pull them out, throw them in a mulch pile, and use it for dirt next year.
That was on my list to do today, and then none of the things on my list to do today got done. My laundry is still in the washer. It won't be ready when I'm leaving here early tomorrow morning, so that's a problem. And yeah, my day was a Monday. That's all I'm going to say.
You are Scottish. By that one word you just said, I want you to spell it. Warsher. How do you spell Warsher?
Okay, now you listen to me right here, mister. I lived in Florida when I was a child, and down there they spell it W-A-R-S-H. And don't leave that R out.
Oh, wash my clothes.
Right, washer.
Well, that's kind of the way they spell it on the French-German border too.
Yeah. My mom used to call the thing you pull out of the side of your cabinet that has forks, knives, and spoons in it is a drawer. My mother would call it a draw, D-R-A-W, but that was because of where she grew up and all that. I'm like, it's a drawer. She's like, yeah, it's a draw. That's what I said, a draw.
Yeah. You can hear my voice right now, and I have a pretty Midwestern accent, pretty straight Midwestern, except for a couple words which you've picked up on. But you start driving me south, and I get out to go pee at a gas station in Kentucky, and I listen to the sales clerk or talk to somebody else for 2 minutes, and
Your
I will
accent
not
comes right
sound like
back.
this. I will not sound like this at all. I will sound like I've lived there my whole life.
Yeah.
And people think I'm making fun of them, and I can't. It's not even something I consciously do. I will have the biggest Southern accent, and I can't control it. And then it doesn't
You know,
go away
I don't
until
have
I've been back for
much
weeks.
to mess with you about. And if this is all I got, this is all I got. Leave me alone.
It's okay. I can take it. I can take
There
it.
you can.
Yep.
Yeah. Wash rag.
Wash rag. Wash the clothes.
Oh,
It's the only. It's basically the only word that came out of me that they didn't rub out of me here in the north.
yeah. My wife I get because I grew up with all the Schwartz side of the family around, and everybody married in because there are so many of them. Everybody picked up the go wash your clothes, and she what do you say? That's not the way you say it. And I'm like, let's see, Irish, Scottish. We're gonna fight about this.
Yeah.
Yep. I know I'm Scottish because I have a copy of my family tree.
I'm a Heinz 57. Literally, every royal house in Europe back to was it 346 BC for Olaf of a country that no longer exists that exists anymore, part of Norway.
Yeah. So I am half Scottish. The Scottish has a little bit of Welsh and a little bit of Irish in there somehow. I don't know.
Belgium, yeah.
And then my mom's side, we always thought we were English, but we're actually English, Welsh, and German. And the German part of my family are the Wolfhardens, and they come from a little castle in Germany. And I can trace them back to 1400 because when the Romans marched through there, they made a little note on their map. Stay away. Don't even go back there. The Romans, they kicked the Romans tushies right out of their little duchy. And the Romans didn't even want to come back and fight them again. But they were the teachers to the castle. And so the prince and princess were godparents to some of the kids going down several generations because they taught the kids, the lords, princes. And so they were very highly educated. So that part of my family is very well documented, and it was very weird to find that.
My dad's side has Irish, Cork County, Ireland, but his grandmother was a Fournier, and then his on his mother's side, his grandmother on his mother's side was a Fournier, so it's Irish French over there, mainly Irish though. And my mom was her mother was Ethel Schwartz, and all of Ethel's brothers and sisters had red hair, and they're from on the it's all right. This century we're in France. No, this century we're in Germany. They're in that area.
Yeah, but the big question is, did they pass down any good salsa recipes? Come on.
No, because none of us are Hispanic.
But they did pass down the what's the word I'm looking for? Desire, the whatever, for a good beer stein full of German beer.
Yeah, mead, beer. Yep.
Those guys used to, they used to love drinking beer. But then on the other side, we had the Crumrines, the Hills, and I think the other one, all English from pre-Revolutionary War.
My ninth great uncle, no, grandfather, something like that, was burned at the stake for translating the Bible from German or from Latin into English.
Ooh.
Yeah. He was a friend of Tyndale's, and when Tyndale was killed, he took over Tyndale's work because Tyndale only did, I think, the New Testament, and my ancestor did the Old Testament and put it with Tyndale's New Testament and made a complete Bible, and he got burned at the stake for it. The heretic he was. I come from a long line of blacksmiths and religious heretics.
All right, so Penny made some pesto, sun-dried tomatoes, infused herbs. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Tammy was mentioning a couple back up that her husband likes things that even Satan won't eat. So I have a friend who everybody loves my cowboy candy, and I brought it over to his wife and him, and he was just eating it. He's like, yeah, it's pretty good, and I made it pretty. It was pretty hot. And his wife was just like, wow, this is really good because it's really hot. He's like, can you make it hotter? I was like, how hot? He's like, can you use like habaneros or scotch, whatever the scotch bonnets? I was like, I could, but I won't. He's like, but would you make it for me? I'm like, okay. And I remember putting that on the on your Facebook page. Mm-hmm. So I called it Satan's butt candy. I didn't use the word butt. And it was half habaneros, half scotch. He bought the peppers. I come home and there's this big brown bag on my porch with a ugly, nasty face written on there. I'm like, okay. I opened it up. I was like, oh crap. He bought me jars. He bought the peppers. He bought pretty much everything except like the sugar. I literally had to wear gloves. And after I sliced them all up and put them in the pot with the stuff to cook them down a little bit to get them hot, I took a sniff. It took me about 4 minutes to catch my breath. I literally ran outside, coughing, hacking, couldn't breathe at all for a short time. I jarred them all up, and I like took a tiny drip of just the juice and put it on my tongue. I think it burned a hole all the way out the bottom of my foot. But I jarred it up for him, and it was sweet, but it was hot. And I jarred up like crap. It had to be 16 half-pint jars. Jarred them all up, brought them over, put them down, said, I need you to open one of those and eat it. He opened it up, smelled it, and I don't know what's wrong with this guy. He smelled it, he's like, that smells good. And he stuck a fork in there and took it was like an eighth of the jar, jammed on the fork, shoved it in his mouth, started chewing. He's like, I like this. I'm like, there's something seriously mentally wrong with you. He ate them all. He's like, you're going to make more? I was like, you're going to grow me more peppers? I'll make you more if you want to grow the peppers. I ain't growing those damn things.
Mark, Dustin, King Poopa, and I'm trying to remember the other guys.
Operation Capsaicin Man.
Operation Cat. They had the ones that from back the janitors. Cosmic.
Oh, Cosmic Cultivators.
Yeah, had They're awesome. Hot pepper eating contest. It 3 years ago it was?
Yeah.
3 years ago. It's on Wide Family Farms thing. They were going hotter and hotter with each pepper.
Yeah.
And they were getting some pretty smoking hot peppers. And Joe, Garden State Gardener, and gets into that too. And I'm trying to remember besides Operation Cast. Oh man, what's the name of the channel? It's not Operation Cast, it's the other one. Guy sells peppers now.
JP Peppers.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, JP Peppers is doing a whole line of products, but he has some great pepper plants. So yeah, you can make it as hot as you want. You can vary the peppers. You just try to keep the amounts consistent with a standard recipe. So you can vary it, but don't vary the amounts too much.
Don't breathe the powder. Oh my God.
Don't breathe it in. That's the same thing as bear spray. That fumes that's letting off is bear spray.
There's recipes out there for making your own bear spray.
Yeah. And Suzanne Gallet just came in on your side.
Thank you.
I think my buddy Bob would like point it at his mouth and use it as, I don't know, something. He'd probably spray it on his food.
That mouth freshener.
Yeah. Mouth, whatever it is. Yeah, like Listerine type stuff.
Yeah. It's peppermint spray.
Yeah, pepper and mint. Sure.
What was that? All right. The movie popped in my head. Steven Seagal, Under Siege 2, Dark Territory, where the one bad guy, the niece of Steven Seagal's character, bad guy with the pepper spray, and he takes it away from her. I need some chips or something like that. It's like, all right. Other salsa stuff here. Peppers. Oh, who was it? Oh, dang it.
Penny wants to know what cowboy candy is.
Okay, it's candied jalapeno peppers, generally speaking, or candied hot peppers.
It's basically, so if you ever had bread and butter pickles, it's a bread and butter pickle brine recipe with jalapenos. Mm-hmm. And it's really
just jalapenos, good. Nothing else. And just jalapenos.
And if you take them after you can them, you take some out and you chop them up small and you mix it with cream cheese. Oh my God. I think I told you my wife, I went downstairs to get a jar for a friend of mine. And I'm like, why are there only like 2 jars left? I mean, we're talking a matter of like 6 months. All of a sudden I went from like 24 jars to like 4. And I go upstairs like, honey, you've been giving away the cowboy candy. She's like, no, I'm eating it. I'm like, what? She's like, oh yeah, I chop some up and mix it with cream cheese, put it on a bagel in the morning. I'm like, and you didn't tell me this, why? She's like, because you probably would have eaten the rest of them. Yeah.
That was it. I'm trying to remember the other one. They were making some. They made some salsa from ghost pepper.
Yes.
It was on Courtney's one of the things they were, or it was on Joe's. One of them they used ghost peppers and the ones that are above ghost pepper that are insane now.
Scorpions, yeah,
all that other stuff, but the ones like 10 times hotter than ghost pepper, they used that, and they were making a salsa, and it was a challenge. All right, here you go. Here's your chip. Dink, dink, dink. Eat it.
Yeah, they were making their own one chip challenge.
Yeah.
Hi, Sandy.
And yeah, it's just absolutely insane.
You can do salsa. I mean, if you're making fresh salsa, you can chop up pretty much anything you want and throw in there. I mean, as long as you got some tomatoes or green tomatoes, or not, you don't even have to do that. You can do with. I mean, I make relish out of my cucumbers that are too far gone to make pickles out of, but you can turn that into a salsa if you want.
So I got to tell you my story, how I developed my salsa recipe. I had a friend who was working on a farm, and I told him I wanted to try out some salsa recipes to figure out which one I liked. And he goes, oh, we got peppers. I'll bring you some peppers. Yeah. He brought me a pallet size thing of peppers. Right. I took him back a bunch of salsas. I'm like, try this one and tell me which one is the best. So I had like 50 pounds of peppers on my porch the next day. And then another day. And then he brought me another 50 pounds of peppers the next time.
They used to have with me, if I can something and give it to somebody and they like it, they're like, what's in this? And I tell them, and they would literally go to the store. And I'm like, okay, I can't use store-bought stuff. But all of a sudden I'd have 2 cases of something on my front porch and 3 cases of jars. I'm like, all right, my labor's not that free.
Yeah.
But
that's where you keep a couple of those jars if you really like it. All right, I'm keeping some of the jars with the salsa for my time.
Yeah.
I literally just kept making salsa until I got the recipe the way I wanted it.
Yeah.
My secret ingredient, I'll tell you, but don't tell anybody I told you, is back in the chat.
Everybody, nobody repeat it in the side chat.
Don't tell Becca I told. But the secret ingredient that when my salsa really started to become really good is when Becca suggested we put soul seasoning in it.
Soul seasoning. Okay.
Soul seasoning. Yep.
Hey, I'm getting a commercial on my phone right now for who's this for? I don't even know who it's for.
Ooh, that would be
Like
good.
a bunch of kids. It's got to be some birthday party with a bed with grandma infirmed. Okay, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a Paris RV ad on Camp Patton up down in Pocatello, and I'm getting a Wayfair and Papa John's ad on Gray Man Prepping.
Oh, actually, mine. I just looked. I hit the other button. It's for the local hospice house.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, now I'm getting one
that sounds
for
bad.
something else, whatever.
Versa Hawk bacteria fungi.
Froze.
You
froze. What?
Yeah, I
Versa
got
what?
Versa HOC Berkshire ready to use antibacterial and anti-V spray. No, I don't need that.
Yeah, no. Hey, Sumi had a question. Sort of.
They kind of mellow and blend with the other flavors, so yes and no. I don't know how to put it. Like some of the hotter peppers will make everything, it'll stay hot and it'll make it hotter. But some things, they mellow in the jar.
Well, you can make super mild salsa and just use regular bell peppers, red, green, yellow, whatever. Chop them up, mix them in. Maybe throw in like a half of a jalapeno, and just mix it in if you're making a couple quarts. It'll give it just a little bit of tang, but not enough to hurt your tongue and make you cry.
Now, Joe, Garden State Gardener, takes the peppers and dehydrates them and powders them, and then he adds the powdered stuff, and he goes, it has the flavor, but not the heat when he does that.
Mm-hmm.
What, for jalapenos?
No, for
ghost peppers. I mean, you name it. Some of the really, he does a lot of hot peppers. Yeah,
and he dehydrates them and stuff, powders them, and he goes, once you go through that process, it's not as hot, but it's still just as flavorful.
Yeah. I don't think I want to dehydrate ghost peppers in my house and then throw them
outside on the porch.
Throw them in a grinder and then have that powder floating around the. Geez.
You do that outside on the porch.
Yeah. Outside. These are outside.
No right
not outside in a building. This is outside in the open air activities.
So that way it blows across towards the neighbors you don't like.
Yeah, towards my Spanish neighbors, and they're all going to be coming over, going, "What you making?"
Ooh, dinner. Yeah.
Cool.
I make different ones. I make a mild. I make a really super hot because I like a more mild to medium salsa, but my kids like hot. So don't grab the wrong jar.
Yeah. Mid-season in my garden, it's like, we want some salsa or whatever. Sure, I'll just run out there and grab a bunch of tomatoes, peppers, whatever I got. I'll throw it because I love fresh parsley in my salsa. And a little cilantro, grind it all up, throw it in a bowl, and we have it with our dinner or whatever.
Penny, I pickle all my pepperoni peppers. I pickle a lot of my jalapeno peppers too.
Trying to remember I brought it up on a previous one the last week or so. The little peppers they have at Subway.
Peppercini.
Other name, banana peppers or something.
Banana peppers and peppercini, yeah.
Yeah, the banana peppers. That's my daughter just likes eating those, but she hasn't found any lately. So, but her Eli, the oldest son, who actually likes when I do make a quesadilla, likes it when I take the Tabasco chipotle sauce, and he'll come back. He'll eat one. He'll come back more.
Nice.
And make another one for him.
I'm dying to. Yes, I'm going to go there, and I haven't done it yet. I think I have a jar or two of cowboy candy downstairs, and I've heard from a few people that freeze-dried cowboy candy is the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's hot, but it's dry because you put it in your mouth, you chew. It's like, oh, it's a pepper, and then like 2 minutes later, the heat finally comes out, catches you a little off guard. But I'm like, yeah, that would be really good to crumble up and throw on a salad or something.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, Tammy, you can use banana peppers. It just makes them more mild than jalapeno.
Yeah, use the Hungarian hot
And
wax
if you want to
peppers. They're
know,
not that hot.
if you want to know how hot a pepper is, there's the Schofield scorer that shows you what the peppers are. So that you can use that as a guide too. The higher the Schofield score, the hotter the pepper.
Nothing's worse than growing 20 pepper plants, 10 of them banana peppers, and 10 of them Hungarian wax peppers, and not labeling them, and then picking them all going, uh-oh, what have I done? And you're eating one going, oh, that one's good. And the next one you're like, okay, that one's hot.
Yeah. Been there, done that. A couple years ago that I bought what I thought was banana peppers, and they were Hungarian hot peppers. So all my banana peppers were super hot. They were not banana peppers.
Hang on here. This one's going to save. That one's going to save.
Yeah, I'll be back in a second.
Okay, let me put this up here for a second. I'm going to have to do some changing here for you. So this is what it is, but I'm going to go and enlarge it here and scroll down so you can see the very hot ones here. Trinidad Scorpion, Pepper X. Oh yeah, Pepper X and Dragon's Breath. Yeah. No, thank you.
And JP Peppers has got one that's right at the top of that hot scale that he developed.
Pepper X. Yes, Pepper X.
Okay, thank you. Yep.
Yeah, that's the 3,180,000.
And
Yeah.
the thing with JP Peppers, when you buy from him, he isolates his plants so that your seeds are all true. I know a couple years back somewhere, I won't name their name, but their seeds got mixed and everything got cross-pollinated, and it's really messed a lot of people's thing up.
Yeah. So you have for the 0 on the Schofield, you have Gypsy Pepper, Purple Beauty, Sweet Belle, then 0 to 100, Tangerine Dream, Italian Sweet, Melrose, and then you start going up to some of the other ones. Banana Pepper.
I've grown the Chatitos before. Those are really good.
Chachito, yeah, the 50 to 200 from Japan.
Yep.
The banana pepper is 0 to 500, depending on the variety, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, this, I just Googled this, and this was, let me go ahead and.
Okay. If anybody has the Elma paprika, I'm looking for seeds.
Yeah.
I want to make my own paprika seasoning. I did some, but.
Yeah. So if you guys want this, I got this saved. So if you email me, the email's at the bottom of the thing. This is the email. Email me and say, ask for this that chart I just showed. It's a JPEG. I can give it to you and just email right back to you. So if you want that, I'll email it to you. And let's see here. Go back over to the comments here. Yeah, my daughter wants to grow them so she can eat them.
Yeah. Yep. And pickled peppers are really easy. And if you have you have a few peppers, not enough to can, you can actually just throw them in straight up vinegar and slice them and throw them in straight up vinegar until you get enough to can.
Yeah.
And they keep really well that way too for quite a while.
Yeah. Now, growing peppers is difficult. Mark can tell you that he grows peppers, but Dustin at Wide Family Farm, King Poopah, they're already starting down in the basement in their little special greenhouse to try to get stuff growing, so that by the time it's warm enough outside, they're already tall enough to and going. So I'm not sure
So-
he may have been doing it for a month already, trying to grow the peppers.
One year he grew 130 varieties of peppers.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Here's my tip for anybody growing peppers. Whether you're going to start from seed or go to the store, people go to the Lowe's or whatever big box store and they're like, "Ooh, I want this pepper plant. It already has a pepper growing," and they bring it home and they plant it. And guess what? You get one pepper out of it. So
Yeah.
your best bet when your peppers start growing and you get a flower, let it flower, let the bees do their thing. And when it starts to get a little tiny pepper on there, nip it off. And then about 2-3 weeks later, you'll get a few more branches on there, arms, and you'll get some more flowers. And you'll get some more peppers starting to grow. Nip them off. Every time you nip them off, the plant thinks, uh-oh, I didn't have enough. I can't procreate. Let me make more. The more you pick your peppers, the more they grow. So I did that with my habaneros one year. Somebody told me that. I was like, oh, okay, I'll try that. So I nipped them off. And then I forgot about them for like a month. I watered them, but wasn't paying attention to them. I went out there. This thing was a freaking shrub. And it had hundreds of peppers on it. And I don't know what bug I have in my area. He must be a Spanish bug. Something was eating my habanero peppers. I'm like, what is wrong with you bugs? But anyway, I got so many peppers that year, and that was like 6 years ago. But by nipping them off, don't say, oh, look, I got some peppers. I'm going to let it grow. No, get rid of it. Nip the little one, eat it. Do something with it. Throw it in the mulch pile. Drop it on the ground. I do a lot of chop and drop with that. And, the more you nip them, and then you start getting, okay, I got like 10 peppers coming in. They're coming in pretty good. When like half of them get to the size you need, pick them all. And it'll come back again with vengeance. And it just keeps coming back. And make sure you water it. And you'll just keep getting more and more and more peppers. And it's like,
Yeah.
The,
Peppers are one thing I buy at the farmer's market because I can get a large amount and a large variety fairly cheap. And so peppers are something I will just go to the farmer's market and buy.
Yeah, I just don't spray mine with anything. So that's my issue with buying peppers at the store and the markets and that.
Well, I know my farmers.
One of the things Jimmy Peppers and some of the others talk about is the hotter the pepper, the harder it is to grow.
Yep.
So
That's
if you like bell peppers and really mild ones, they'll grow a lot for you. You want a ghost pepper? You're going to be very frustrated trying to get a ghost pepper to grow.
Think the hotter peppers need a more alkaline soil, which seems to be my good news here because I have pine trees, white pines that hover over my gardens. And in the winter, all the needles drop in. I just till them in.
That means it's not alkaline. That makes it more acid.
Or acid.
Yeah, acid.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
I'm saying because I'm up here, I am very, very, very alkaline. When I did the soil test thing, it went from like 3 or something on there up to 7, and then it goes up to 8. It only goes a little bit above 7. It's like and it was a green. It went from a green to a red, yellow. It went black when I tested it. It went. It's it's more like 9 or something up here because we got a volcanic soil up here that is that basalt soil. That's why the town's called basalt. And potatoes love it though, and the sugar beets love it.
What about rhubarb?
Loves it.
What about rhubarb?
I don't know. I haven't heard anybody planting rhubarb around here. I don't know. They may some of the locals may grow it in their private garden, but yeah, there's 3 crops they grow around here. Sugar beets, potatoes, alfalfa, and they rotate it. Yeah. All right, we're a little over here.
Yeah.
So coming up tomorrow on Camp Patton Family Compound is first aid kit customization. We're going to talk about you buy a first aid kit, you got to customize it because it ain't going to be you don't want something that fits everybody because your family is not everybody.
Right.
There's always something in your family that needs something different, allergies, whatever it is, something. Thursday night is the midnight ride. Friday back here on Camp Patton is planning your garden. If you haven't started planning it out, I mean, paper. Okay, I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna, planning it out. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. And those of you who haven't started planning out, we're also gonna talk a little bit about, what are you planting? What do you want to plant? You can still order some things right now. Some things. I actually, what was it? M.I. Gardner had 2 things when I was glancing through there that were out of stock already.
Well,
So
after
yeah.
was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, Saturday, Sunday. After co-hosting with Joe on Grow Big TV and talking to the guy about the purple tomato, I think I might be adding the purple tomato to my garden.
Is that the genetically?
Yes. He totally changed my opinion.
But it's but is that the one where if you
It's bioengineered.
No. I mean, it has the legal attachment to buying it. That if it gets any of your other things and stuff. Yeah.
No. Watch the show. It is a fixed tomato. It's just like a hybrid, and you can save the seed. And he talks about the chances of it cross-pollinating and stuff. And totally,
all right.
After talking to him, I totally changed my opinion. And it is so beautiful, and it's full of anthocyanins naturally. And I think I might maybe see if I can't figure out a way to get a hold of a package.
Okay, what is going on with Mother Earth here? Sandy's talking about her son and allergies. Throat swelling up. Ooh. Wow.
Yeah, better have some Benadryl, some Pepcid, and some. What's the other thing? Can't think right now.
All right. So, and then next Saturday is one of the how want to call this the topic? It's not that's not down to earth possibilities like last Saturday's was with the power grid goes down. This is a fear porn fantasy one, and it was recommended by several people. Emailed me. Can you do this one? Can you do this one? The topic this Saturday on Survival Saturday: after Skynet activates, what are your plans? Yeah, like I said.
Get a German Shepherd that can smell them. Yeah.
It's going to be sci-fi fantasy on Saturday. There may be some things to glean out of there, but it's going to be entertainment on Saturday. And then next Monday here, next Monday is to blanch or not to blanch. That's just a question. Just nobler in the minds of women to. No, sorry.
I'm getting more ads.
I'm sorry. When I was in college, third semester in college, I was a drama major at the time, not on stage, technician, props, scenery, lighting, everything else, and I was doing the lighting for Hamlet.
Go figure. After spending your life on a sound stage with film set, you wanted to be a stagehand.
I mean, no, I see. Out in high school, I was the drama class was put on You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I didn't want to do that because I had already done enough stuff on stage. I grew up tap dancing and ballet, and in my junior, senior high school, we moved to different schools. It's like I'll do the scenery. Yeah. He's okay. He came home from the hospital. That's good, Sandy.
Oh, good.
So anyway, that's what's coming up here. And if you have any suggestions for Monday night's canning stuff, please email those suggestions either to Tammy or to me so I can get it on the schedule.
Yes.
All right. I think that covers everything. So everyone, if you're afraid of pressure canning, don't be. If you're afraid of water bath canning, don't be. Water bath canning's been going on since my grandmother used to my great grandmother used to water bath. So, and nobody got sick or died. Amazing. All right, everyone. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow night. Oh, wait a minute. Tammy, later this week, are you going live?
It'll be a pop-up. I can't guarantee anything. This week's schedule is, well, it won't be Thursday, that's for sure. So I don't know. It'll be a pop-up.
Oh, and last night, Mark had a pop-up live when he fried his inverter by hooking positive to negative, negative to positive.
Yeah,
and he took it apart. He fixed it. It was great. It was great. He fixed it. All right, everyone. We'll see you around, and hopefully I'll see you over on Tactical Tuesday, Gray Man Prepping tomorrow night. Take care.
Have a good night.